outbreak is undoubtedly capturing everyone's attention with customers and partners. Huawei maintained a robust business and generally achieved the expected business results. It also laid the foundation for what I'm going to say today. At the very least, it saved me from launching an extremely difficult annual report. The coronavirus outbreak is undoubtedly capturing everyone's attention. We certainly hope it will pass quickly so that everything goes back to normal. Given the outbreak being controlled in China and developing outside of China, Huawei has attached a great importance to the immediate and full implementation of prevention and control, ensuring the health and the safety of our employees. We also work to respond and satisfy the needs of customers and governments in the fight against the epidemic. As of today, Huawei's production in China has generally been restored. At the same time, we work together with operators to ensure secure and stable network operations and help fight the pandemic with digital innovation and applications. In 2009, Huawei focused on ICT infrastructure and smart devices and achieved a sales revenue of 858.8 billion RMB, a year increase of 19.1% and a 5-year CAGR of 21%. Net profit of RMB 62.7 billion, a year-on-year increase of 5.6% and a 5-year CAGR of 14%. Operating cash flow was RMB 91.4 billion, a year-on-year increase of 22.4% and a 5-year CAGR of 15%. Looking back at 2019, Huawei has achieved robust operations and maintained a stable net profit margin and a healthy cash flow. Breaking it down to the three businesses, consumer business grew rapidly with a sales revenue of RMB 467.3 billion RMB, a year-on-year increase of 34%. Enterprise business achieved a sales revenue of RMB 89.7 billion, year-on-year increase of 8.6%. The carrier business, impacted by carrier investment fluctuations, realized a revenue of RMB 296.7 billion, a year-on-year increase of 3.8%. Breaking it down to regions, China realized a revenue of RMB 506.7 billion, increased by 36.2%. Due to the external environment outside China, the revenue decreased by 1.6% year-on-year. Among them, EMEA achieved a revenue of 206 billion RMB, a slight year-on-year increase of 0.7%. APAC achieved 70.5 billion RMB in revenue, affected by carrier investment fluctuations and GMS outside of China, dropping by 30.9%. Americas reached 52.5 billion yuan, up by 9.6%. In 2019, the company's net cash reached RMB 258.9 billion, an increase of 32%. Asset liability ratio remained at a relatively stable level. Huawei has always pursued and maintained a stable capital structure. Despite the changes in its business and external environment, the overall capital structure remains stable. Technological innovation and basic research are fundamental to Huawei. Every year, we invest more than 10% of revenue in research and development. R&D spend in 2019 was RMB 131.7 billion, or $18.9 billion, accounting for approximately 15.3% of annual revenue. Over the past 10 years, R&D investment exceeded 600 billion RMB, equivalent to $86 billion. We have more than 96,000 R&D staff globally, making up about 49% of our total headcount. Respecting and protecting IPR is the only way to innovation. Huawei has been respecting the intellectual property rights of others while protecting its own. In 2019, Huawei obtained a total of 15,243 granted patents worldwide, of which 5,147 were granted in China, 8,756 were granted in Europe and America, accounting for 54%. According to latest data from the European Patent Office, Huawei ranked number 1 in patent applications in Europe in 2019. Huawei has been granted a total number of more than 85,000 patents around the globe. This is a snapshot of our financial numbers in 2019. You can see those numbers in our financial report. Next, I want to share with you my outlook about the future and also our strategy for different businesses. Since the Industrial Revolution in 1760, human society has never been more prosperous and at the same time has never seen greater social challenges. These challenges include global warming, frequent natural disasters, and also the ongoing coronavirus outbreak, social divide, and increasing inequality. The network has become a basic part of human life. Its impact and role will only become stronger. Therefore, the cybersecurity challenges will only be greater, not smaller. Unilateralism and economic confrontation are growing. Such actions based on anxiety and panic are not helping because they are hindering the fixes. Geopolitical unrests are everywhere. Politicizing almost everything is an emerging dangerous trend, which will only add to the turmoil. We're also seeing inadequate drivers behind a sustainable economy. Development is at the core of the issues. Without a strong economic growth that can sustain, the problems will be hard to crack. Despite the global turmoil, humankind carries on its perpetual pursuit of prosperity and development. How to overcome the challenges, to get rid of turmoil, and to achieve a high level of prosperity are top priorities before us. We believe that development should come first. We must not abandon development just because there are challenges. Without a development, there will never be an answer. Second, global cooperation must be strengthened. Many of the problems facing the world today are spin-offs of globalization that cannot be solved by returning to the agrarian age, nor can they be solved with anti-globalization measures. The ongoing coronavirus outbreak reminds us that the problems can only be resolved by strengthened cooperation. Global prosperity and challenges are both rooted in technological innovation. Finding the answer depends on innovation. Resolving the technological challenges primarily depends on technological innovation as well. Innovation is not the ultimate answer, but it's the key for us to get there. We need to develop trustworthy standards and rebuild mutual trust. There's a pressing need to come up with a technological innovation that copes with the growing cybersecurity challenges. It is a global consensus to address social and industry-wide issues, especially the underlying problems in development. One must have solid infrastructure, in particular the ICT infrastructure. However, there is a lack of global efforts. Indeed, many of the problems are attributed to patchy infrastructure across the world. There is a pressing need to review and redefine the policies of infrastructure with the goal of effective enhancement. The ICT infrastructure has become the most fundamental among all kinds of infrastructure. Building a fully connected digital and intelligent infrastructure is the essence of any solution to promote development and address challenges. This is our understanding. This is also our suggestion for global development. It is also what we are working towards. We firmly believe that humanity will enter the intelligent world in 20 to 30 years. According to research by Huawei and some universities, Industry digitalization and intelligence are now in the phase of rapid development, bringing a lot of opportunities. In 2019, the global digital economy reached $15.6 trillion, accounting for 19.7% of the world GDP. The number would expect to grow to 24% by 2025. The digital economy is outpacing the global economy. In 2019, the digital economy grew at a rate 3.5 times faster than the global economy. An analysis shows that over the past 30 years, every US dollar of digital investment brought about 20 extra dollars in GDP, whereas every dollar in non-digital investment could only generate $3 in the GDP. Huawei focuses on the ICT infrastructure and smart devices that enable digitalization and intelligence. Our investments are centered on connectivity, the cloud and computing, and intelligent devices. 5G featuring ultra-high bandwidth, ultra-low latency, and massive connection will bring ultimate experience to consumers, accelerate digitalization intelligence, and provide a new momentum for social and economic development. We will actively promote global 5G development, work with the industry-leading enterprises to build 5G industry applications that can be replicated on large scale and contribute to a thriving 5G ecosystem, helping telecom operators, industry partners, and consumers achieve greater business and societal value.
As enterprises accelerate digital transformation, they need intelligent IP networks that provide higher bandwidth, reliable SLAs, and intelligent O&M. In 2019, we released a series of solutions such as AI-based 5G integrated barrier network, intelligent zero-loss, DCN, and all-wireless campus network. We will continue to invest in innovation, carry out joint innovation with customers, and lead the development of intelligent IP networks and standards. Fiber networks are driven by experience instead of bandwidth. Last year, we released the intent-driven all-optical network strategy. Huawei's fiber networks provide not only ultimate experience for households, but also more reliable and higher bandwidth connectivity for vertical industries. As a leader in the global optical communications industry, we will remain committed to key research and actively contribute to the standards. In terms of cloud and computing businesses, to meet the requirements of the intelligent world for heterogeneous and diverse computing, we released the Kunpeng plus Ascend computing strategy, illustrating things we do and things we leave to the partners. And this strategy aims to build an open and thriving ecosystem. To better serve our customers, we have integrated organizations related to storage, computing, and cloud services, and established the Cloud and AI BG. In 2009, AI training cluster Alice 900, Huawei Cloud Ascend cluster service, and Mindsport AI computing framework to complete our full-stack all-scenario AI portfolio. We have also released the Huawei Developer Program 2.0. We plan to nurture 5 million developers with universities and the community in 5 years and invest $1.5 billion to promote the development of the computing industry. We are committed to providing reliable, secure, trustworthy, and sustainable public cloud services and hybrid cloud solutions. Cloud services, AI, and 5G together can well enable data analytics and applications. We provide such an enabling platform for the intelligent world while working with partners to facilitate industry digitization and intelligence. Huawei cloud services were developing at a very fast speed and grew more than 3 times in 2019. Last year, Huawei smartphones shipped a record high of over 240 million units. The global brand awareness increased to 93%, winning the trust and love of global consumers with excellent products and experience. Looking into the future, Huawei is committed to fulfilling its vision and mission on intelligent devices. Huawei is dedicated to building a smart life with ultimate experience for consumers in all scenarios. And Huawei adheres to the 1+A+ and all scenario strategy through HMS, including App Gallery, High-Link, and other industry software, hardware, applications, and service partners. Huawei is able to meet consumers' requirements for all scenarios smart life. In addition, last year we launched a $1 billion Shining Star program for device developers. As 5G, AI, AR, and VR become more mature and democratized around the world, Huawei's smart device business will continue to gain traction for its development. The fast-developing ICT industry is not without its challenges. Moore's Law and Shannon's Law are approaching capacity. Therefore, Huawei upgraded its innovation strategy from the 1.0 era of technology and engineering innovation based on customer needs to the 2.0 era of vision-driven theoretical breakthroughs and basic technology inventions. The core concept of Innovation 1.0 is to meet customer requirements and challenges, innovate technologies and engineering, innovate products and solutions, and solve the problem of 1 to N. The key is to help customers and partners enhance competitiveness, help customers increase revenue or reduce costs, and help them achieve business success. Now we are talking about Innovation 2.0 strategy. The core concept is that we believe that the future world is an intelligent one. It's a fully connected one. And we'll explore theoretical breakthroughs and basic technology inventions to solve the world's intractable problems with 0 to 1 innovation. As a leading global ICT infrastructure and intelligent device provider, Huawei is committed to sustainable development. We work with customers, partners, and third-party organizations around the world to advance the United Nations SDGs. ICT technologies will play an increasingly important role in delivering sustainable development. Last year, we incorporated digital inclusion into our sustainable development strategy. The other three components are security and trustworthiness, environmental protection, and a harmonious ecosystem. Again, last year, we officially released the Tech for All program, which aims to cooperate with multiple organizations around the world in education, environmental protection, health, and well-being. Technology is good. Pass it on, leaving no one behind in digital. In terms of security and trustworthiness, we provided network assurance for more than 200 major events and natural disasters worldwide. Amidst the ongoing coronavirus outbreak, we will honor our commitment to shoulder our responsibilities and work with customers and partners to overcome the difficulties. Huawei's vision and mission is to bring digital to every person, home, and organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. So now it's time to hand the meeting across to the media to ask their questions. Before we start, I'd like to invite Madam Xi to the stage. Welcome. Just some explanatory comments before we start. This is for media who can ask questions. We're going to switch now from 9 languages to 2. So Ken Wong is joining us on the stage as interpreter. Ken will be talking Mandarin to English. If you're online on the conferencing system to ask a question, there's a little button. You click it and you raise your hand. We will see your questions come in. We will try to choose those who ask questions in the order we see them come. For now, every journalist line is muted. Once we've identified you to ask a question, we will manually unmute your line. Please wait until we confirm that we can hear you before you start to ask your question. Your voice will be heard here in the room and also on the call itself. please that you unmute your video so we can see you when you ask your questions. So if you're a journalist that plans to ask a question or hopes to, please unclick the video link now. So there will be a slight delay. Please bear with us. And finally, there's many journalists on the line. Please restrict your questions to one, if you can, to give many people an opportunity. We have 60 minutes for the Q&A, so we have time to address many, many questions. So with that, I'm going to start with China Business News. Number 2, Dave Curtin at Reuters, get ready for your question. So can we unmute the line, please, of Lina from China Business News?
有请第一个提问的第一财经的李娜，然后接下来一个提问者是路透社的 David。
好，你好，我是来自
Hi, Lina. Your question, Lina?
好，你好，我是来自第一财经的记者李娜。我的问题是，现在全球的这个疫情仍在蔓延，那这样的疫情下面，是否会对华为今年的整个经营造成一定的影响？华为的这个供应链上的一个不好意思，刚刚有些断了。这个疫情是否会对华为的这个供应链也会造成一定影响？那华为的应对方式是什么？谢谢。
I'm with China Business News. The global pandemic is still spreading. Whether that would have impact on Huawei's business operations throughout the year, while whether Huawei's supply chain would be affected as well. What is Huawei's plan to address it?
我们期盼着疫情能够尽快得到控制，尽快得到控制住，也希望所有的患者能够得到康复。其实这次新冠病毒再次提醒我们，人类生活在一个命运相连的世界，面对共同挑战，应该团结与合作。病毒没有国界，不区分种族、肤色和财富。在疫情当下呢，我们首要保障华为公司每一个员工的安全。自疫情初期，华为就通过了一系列的措施，来有效保障员工的身体健康和安全，同时在保障员工的安全的情况下，来响应全球客户和政府对抗击疫情的一些需求。应该到今天为止，我们在中国的生产活动已经全面恢复。我们在短期内，我们满足全球客户
employees. Since the very beginning of the outbreak, we've taken a whole series of measures to ensure health and safety of Huawei employees. And on that basis, we also work together. We also work to satisfy the needs and the requirements coming from our customers and the governments around the world as they fight the pandemic. Till today, all the production activities in China have been fully restored. Therefore, there would be no problem in the short term for us to continue supplying our customers and partners around the world. At the same time, as everyone knows, the coronavirus is still spreading, especially outside of China. If that cannot be well controlled, it will cause challenges. On a daily basis, we have been briefed by our supply chain division around how our global suppliers have been doing in light of the current situation. We've also been doing what we can in our power to support our partners and suppliers as they fight the epidemic, as they help to ensure supply to Huawei as well. At this point of a time, we certainly cannot say for sure how the pandemic will evolve. If it cannot be well controlled, if some individual suppliers of Huawei cannot continue supplying to us, it will cause long-term challenges, and it will also cause uncertainty regarding whether Huawei would continue to supply to the market. Of course, this is something that we definitely don't want to see. And we are also working hard on our side as well.
Okay, thank you. We're going to come secondly to Charisse Pham from CNN. Charisse, can you hear us? Hi, Charisse. Can we unmute Charisse's line, please? There you are.
Okay. Yeah, I see I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Greetings from our Hong Kong apartment. Thank you so much for holding this virtual press conference. Eric, I hear you when you're saying that China's trying to get back to normal and Huawei's trying to get back to normal, but it just really feels that as the pandemic is sort of rolling out globally, it really feels like we're sort of entering this stage of before coronavirus and after coronavirus. So how do you see Huawei's business being fundamentally changed because of the coronavirus and the pandemic? Do you see changes in how you approach the supply chain or changes in how maybe you approach HR? I've heard that you're now giving virtual tours to carrier clients, for example. How do you see some of the things that you've rolled out because of the coronavirus pandemic? You know, they were sort of emergency measures, but will you continue them in the future?
CNN 的记者，首先的话，从这个香港的公寓给大家带来问候，很高兴参加今天的在线虚拟的发布会。刚才的话也听到 Eric 您提到，中国这边的话正在努力的恢复常态，华为的话也在努力的恢复常态。那您觉得这一次的这个疫情的爆发，会不会让我们所处的这样的一个时代，以后谈起来就分成两个截然不同的时代？疫情前和疫情后。想问一下，具体跟华为相关的，就是由于这个疫情，华为在业务运营上有没有哪些根本的不同？比如说，华为在供应链上面的这样的一个策略有没有什么变化？在人力资源上的做法有没有什么样的变化？我们也听说，华为在面向运营商的客户提供一些虚拟的这个工具。所以这些类似于像是应急时候的这些调整，在疫情过后会不会仍然持续？
会不会分成两个时代我不清楚，但是对每一个家庭每一个人都会成为一个永久的记忆。
Whether the pandemic would mark a distinct distinction between the two eras of before and after the pandemic, I'm not sure. But for many families and for many individuals, what has been happening will definitely be their unforgettable memory that would always stay there.
其实对华为来讲，现在还没有这个时间或精力去思考未来这个该怎么来改进。目前更多的聚焦在确保员工这个安全的情况下，来怎么来快速响应和满足全球我们的客户，包括当地政府对我们抗疫的这个需求。
As for Huawei, there is no time or effort on our part to think about what kind of the changes, what kind of improvements to be made in our business operations. Because currently, our priority is how to fastly respond and satisfy the needs of our customers around the world, including governments, in their fight against the pandemic, provided that the health and the safety of our employees can be guaranteed.
大家都清楚，现在全球都在线会议、在线购物、在线生活、在线娱乐，然后对网络的这个流量需求大幅度增长，然后对网络的这个稳定、安全运行带来了相当大的挑战。华为在全球170多个国家有服务，我们在跟这些国家的客户和政府在全力这个确保网络安全稳定运行，然后同时能够保证支撑这些需求的这个快速增长。
As we know, in light of the current situation, online conferencing, online shopping, online living, and also online entertainment has been on the surge. That has caused a dramatic increase of network traffic. That also makes it ever demanding to ensure safety and stability of networks around the world. Huawei serves more than 170 countries around the world. We have been working closely with our customers and also local governments to ensure stable and secure operations of the network, while also working to address the ever-growing demand from increasing online activities.
当然，这个疫情的这个发生期间，我们也在发现了我们这个在运营管理上这个存在的一些问题和面临的一些挑战。我想这个会驱动我们在疫情结束以后进一步去重新改进和优化。
Of course, during the course of the pandemic, we have also identified some issues and challenges in our operations management that we need to work on. So when this whole pandemic is over, we definitely will take measures to address those issues to drive continuous improvement.
比如说，我们发现，不要面对面开会也能把会开好，我们不要面对面开发布会，我看也能开好。
For example, it's part of our findings that you don't have to sit face to face to have a good meeting, and you don't have to really all sit in one room to have a good press conference, such as this one we are having today.
当然，我们也发现，它对这个网络、对5G 会带来新的看法。
We also find what's going on will certainly bring about new perspectives in terms of how people look at the networks and how people look at the 5G.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Charisse. We're going to go to Dave Curtin next. David Curtin from Reuters. Just wait for your line to be unmuted, and then Global Times, Chen Qingqing, get ready.
我们下一个问题是有请路透社的这个 David。然后是Global Times 的记者可以准备，是紧接着下一个问题。
Hi, David.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah. How much of Huawei's revenue last year came from 5G equipment sales outside of China, and what sort of impact did U.S. pressure have on those sales?
2019年，华为5G 的这个销售收入有多少是来自于中国以外的海外市场？那美国的压力对这个5G 的销售收入有多大的影响
？2019年我们的5G 收入，这只是30多亿美金，占我们公司的收入比例和占我们运营商的收入比例都非常小。
Our revenue from 5G last year was more than $3 billion. So percentage-wise, it's very small, no matter when we look at the total revenue of Huawei or the total revenue of our carrier business.
所以说，事实上，2019年整个全球5G还是处于一个部署。
Deployment was just kicked off. We haven't seen large-scale 5G rollout yet.
当然，5G 在全球的这个热度是前所未有的，从来没有一个技术能够像5G一样传播这么广，能够让全球每一个人，甚至从这个不管年龄档次都能够知道。其实这样的话，对我们所有的消费者来接受这个技术，这个节省了大量的传播成本。
We've seen a single technology in history that has, for example, it's part of our findings that you don't have to sit face to face to have a good meeting, and you don't have to really all sit in one room to have a good press conference, such as.
实事求是来讲，这个美。
Would certainly bring about new perspectives in terms of how people look at the networks and how people look at the 5G.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Charisse. We're going to go to Dave Curtin next. David Curtin from Reuters. Just wait for your line to be unmuted, and then.
大量的时间去给我们的客户、给我们的合作伙伴、给我们的跟相关政府监管机构去解释。
We had to take a lot of time explaining with our customers, partners, and also government regulators.
我们还有少数几个2G、3G、4G 网络本来是华为提供的客户，出于各种原因，没有选择华为的5G 继续，或者部分区域没有继续选择华为的继续。
There are also several cases where Huawei equipment was already used for their 2G, 3G, and 4G networks, and yet the customers did not choose Huawei's 5G or did not continue working with Huawei in selective geographies for different types of reasons.
比如澳大利亚的这个 audited 和 VHA， 丹麦的 TDC， 挪威的特利亚，就是这些有可能您也在报道上看到过。
Those examples include Optus and VHA in Australia, TDC in Denmark, and Italia in Norway. And I believe some of you may have already seen those reports.
但是我确实没事先准备我们5G 收入，中国有多少，海外有多少。
But I did not prepare that number split in terms of 5G revenue in China and outside China.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question, David. Chen Qing from Global Times, we're coming to you. Omar from CGTN, get ready for the question afterwards. Chen Qing.
那么下一位记者是这个来自于 Global Times 的陈青青，然后接下来的这个问题会有请 CGTN 的这个记者提问，请准备。
你好，环球时报记者提问。最近美国媒体报道说，白宫可能在考虑一项新的出口管制的措施，可能会限制包括台积电在内的芯片的这个制造商对华为供货。想请问一下，华为将如何应对可能更加严格的这样的出口管制？谢谢。
From Global Times. There have been recent reports saying that the White House is considering new export control restrictions, restricting companies such as TSMC to supply Huawei. How Huawei would address such escalations of export control from the United States?
这个上午接受这个 CNBC 的采访，问了同样的问题。
The journalist of CNBC was asking the same question during our interview this morning.
所以说我只能把这个同样的回答再回答一遍。
I can only repeat my answer that I was given to CNBC.
是我看到了这个路透社报道的这个消息。
I saw that report from Reuters.
同时我也看到了《中国日报》3月29日的消息。
I also saw the report of China Daily on March 29th.
中国日报上说，如果美国这种措施能够得以实施，中国政府也别无选择，只能对某些公司采取同样的措施。
The China Daily report said if the measures were taken by the United States, the Chinese government would be left no other choice but imposing similar measures on some companies.
我想中国政府不会让华为任人宰割，或者对华为嗤之不理。
I think the Chinese government will not just stand by watching Huawei to be slaughtered on the chopping board.
相信中国政府也会采取一些反制的措施。
And I believe the Chinese government may also take some countermeasures.
为什么不能基于同样的网络安全原因，禁止美国公司的5G 芯片？或者含有5G 芯片的基站、智能手机和各种智能终端在中国使用呢？
Why the of cybersecurity reasons?
就算在这种情况下，中国公司和华为还能从韩国的三星、台湾的 MTK、大陆的展信购买芯片来生产这个手机。
Even the situation you mentioned happened, Huawei and also other Chinese companies can choose to buy chipset from, say, Samsung from Korea, MTK from Taiwan, and Spreadtrum in China, and use those chips to develop their own smartphones.
就算华为因为长期不能生产芯片，并且而做出了牺牲，相信在中国会有很多芯片企业成长起来。
Even in the long term, Huawei was denied access to chip manufacturing. I believe there will be many Chinese companies that would start working on chipset in the long run.
华为还是可以通过这些企业和韩国、日本、中国、台湾、欧洲的芯片制造商提供的芯片来研发和生产产品。
Those could be the sources Huawei could look at, together with other sources in Korea, Japan, Europe, and also Taiwan, as we develop and design our products.
如果美国政府可以任意修改外国直接产品规则，其实是破坏全球的技术生态。
If the U.S. government can arbitrarily change the foreign-made direct product rule, that would be a destruction to the global technology ecosystem.
如果中国政府来反制，对产业会造成什么样的影响？推演下去，这种破坏性的连锁效应是令人吃惊的。
And then, if the Chinese government also follow with countermeasures, we can imagine what kind of an impact that would be on the industry. This type of a destructive ripple effect on the global industry would be astonishing.
潘多拉盒子一旦打开，对于全球化的产业生态可能是毁灭性的、连锁性的破坏，毁掉的可能不只是华为一家企业。
If the Pandora's box was to be opened, we are probably going to see catastrophic destruction to the global industry chain. And by then, it's not going to be only one company of Huawei that could be destroyed.
我们是期望全球产业链合作，聚焦客户和产业界面临的挑战，为全球的客户提供更加可信的这个产品。
It is our hope that the global industry can work together where everyone can focus on the challenges that the industry and also the customers are faced with and work together to come up with trustworthy products.
我期望这条信息是假的。
In that context, I hope this story is not true.
否则会后患无穷。
Or otherwise, we might be seeing an endless flow of disastrous aftermath.
全球产业链的任何一个玩家都很难独善其身。
If that happens, not a single player in the global value chain can stay immune.
Thank you.
Omar from CGTN, Simon Gao Yuan from Bloomberg, get ready, you're coming next.
下一个问题是 CGTN， 然后彭博社的这个记者是紧接着再问下一个问题。
Omar Khan, CGTN. So last year, 2019, you could say probably a tough year for Huawei, having that FCC litigation, the entity list. But also last year, we saw Huawei invite a lot of media personnel to come visit their headquarters in Shenzhen. A lot of interviews were given by Ren Zhengwei. I kind of want to go with this. Going forward this year, what more does Huawei want to do in terms of transparency, in terms of countering those claims by several governments, specifically the United States? How does Huawei want to better showcase who they are to kind of deflect those claims that they have any connections to the government? If you could just expand on what Huawei plans to do going forward in 2020. Thank you.
在2019年，对华为来说是比较挑战的一年。我们看到了华为跟 FCC 的这样的一个上诉，看到了这个实体清单，但同时的话，我们也看到华为把很多的媒体记者邀请到深圳。华为的创始人任正非也接受了很多的媒体采访，所以我想问一下，在未来，在2020年，华为在增强透明度方面还会有哪些新的举措，从而能够去澄清外界对于华为与中国政府的关系的这样的一些误解或者是担心，如何去展示出这个更大的透明度？华为在2020年有怎样的计划？
我想这个主要还是按照2019年的这个方法继续前行。
I think primarily we are going to follow the same approaches that we took in 2019.
Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Simon Gao, we're coming to you. Takagi from Sankei News and Masi from China Daily, get ready, you're coming next. But for now, Simon Gao from Bloomberg. Simon, can we hear you? Simon.
能听到吗
Okay.
可以听到，请说。
这个问题给徐总。您之前讲说，这个美国的这种禁令和这种打击，其实对华为的业务的影响还是很大的。我想请您展望一下2020年今年的业绩情况。这种禁令和包括5G 的销售在海外遇到的困难，会对华为今年的销售的业绩有哪些影响？另外是关于5G 手机在海外销售的预期，能不能给一个？谢谢。
Eric, you mentioned just now the U.S. ban on Huawei's business has had a very substantial impact. Can you share your outlook of Huawei's business in 2020 in light of the U.S. ban and the difficulties Huawei is going to face in markets outside of China when it comes to 5G business? What specific impact can be expected? And can you share with some numbers regarding the 5G smartphone sales in 2020?
我一直讲，2019年是华为公司最挑战的一年，但是呢，我们毕竟还有5月16号之前接近半年的快速增长。
I kept saying that 2019 was probably the most difficult year for Huawei. However, even in 2019, we still had enjoyed very fast growth before May 16th.
我们还有大量的这个储备来应对这个客户的需求。
And we also had a substantial stockpile in our inventory to respond to customer needs.
所以2020年我说的是华为公司最艰难的一年。
In that context, I think 2020 will be more difficult. It's going to be the most difficult year for Huawei.
因为我们全年都处于这个实体清单下。
Because we will be subject to entity listing throughout the year.
就产业界预测，我们的这个储备也应该快用完了。
And according to some in the industry, Huawei's inventory that we put in place beforehand is about to run out.
是全面检验我们这个供应连续性是不是能够发挥作用的一个关键之年。
Therefore, 2020 is going to be a very crucial year to test whether Huawei's supply continuity program can really work in an effective way.
当然，新冠疫情又是一个我们没有预想到的这个情况。
On top of that, the outbreak of coronavirus is something unexpected.
它带来的这个全球经济衰退、金融动荡，以及这个需求这个放缓等等一系列问题，是我们2020年没有预测到的新的挑战。
It brings about new, unexpected challenges like economic decline, financial turmoil, and also shrinking market demand.
由于这个全球的疫情还在这个快速的发展过程中，我们当前主要聚焦在确保员工的安全，能够响应客户和政府的抗疫需求。其实还没有时间去对前年到底能够达到多少做这个评估和预测。其实现在也很难做到准确的评估和预测。
When the global pandemic is still fast developing, our current priority is to first ensure health and safety of our employees, and on that basis, respond to the needs and requirements of our customers and also governments around the world in their fight against the pandemic. We don't have the time yet to either forecast or evaluate how our whole year numbers would look like. As a matter of fact, at this point of time, it's very difficult to to make an accurate forecast.
2020年我们力争活下来，明年还能发布年报。
In 2020, we will try everything we can to continue to survive so that we can release our 2020 annual report at the same time next year.
这个关于5G 手机在海外销售，其实大家都清楚。我们现在从去年5月16号以后，我们新的手机都没法预装这个谷歌的这个 GMS 系统。
Regarding the sales prospect of Huawei 5G phones in markets outside of China, you all know that after May 16th of last year, all newly launched Huawei phones could not have GMS pre-installed.
为了保护全球华为智能手机用户的利益和使用体验，华为推出了这个 HMS 系统。
In order to protect the interest and also user experience of all Huawei smartphone users globally, Huawei launched HMS.
我们也期待谷歌应用能够在华为的这个应用市场 App Gallery 上上架，就像在苹果的 App Store 上上架一样。
We also hope that the applications from Google can be also hosted in Huawei's App Store, our App Gallery, just like how they are doing with Apple's App Store.
这样可以共同帮助消费者继续获得更多更好的应用。
This can help deliver more and better applications that can be made available to consumers.
使华为在海外的所有5G 手机都能够成为谷歌应用的这个用户。
That could also help to ensure all the users of Huawei 5G smartphones outside of China can also be the users of Google's applications.
我们期待5G 手机在海外能卖得更多，但是我们现在确实没法做更准确的预测，取决于我们整个 HMS 生态的建设。
It's certainly our hope that we can sell more 5G smartphones in markets outside China, but it's truly difficult for us to make an accurate forecast as of now. It largely depends on how the progress would look like in terms of our ecosystem around HMS.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've lost Sankei News, so we're going to come to China Daily next and then to Dan Strum from the Wall Street Journal. Masi from China Daily, are you there?
我们下一个问题来自于这个 China Daily 紧接着是华尔街日报。
Hi.
你好，我想问徐总，目前欧洲成为了疫情重灾区之一，就您怎么判断疫情对欧洲今年5G 网络建设节奏的影响？中国疫情受到控制以后，明显加快了5G 建设的步伐和力度。想问您，华为怎么看今年国内的5G 机会？谢谢。
Currently, Europe is one of the regions that's been hit the worst by the pandemic, and how the 5G network deployment would be affected by the pandemic in Europe. And look at China. China has clearly accelerated 5G network deployment after the pandemic is brought under control. What's Huawei's view regarding 5G opportunities for Huawei in the China market?
欧洲的这个5G 部署肯定会延后，疫情有多长时间，延后就多长时间。
5G deployment in Europe will certainly be delayed to the extent and to the time when the pandemic will be brought under control.
中国是加快了，中国在疫情控制以后是加快在推进5G 的建设。目前3大运营商都在组织这个招标的这个进程。
In China, after the pandemic was brought under control, indeed, it has accelerated 5G deployment. Currently, all the 3 big telecom operators are in the process of tendering.
我相信中国3大运营商会完成他们年初这个计划的这个5G 的这个建设量。 有可能还会适当的增加一点点。
And I believe for all the three big telecom operators in China, they will complete the planned amount of a 5G deployment, or even slightly higher than their year beginning plan.
具体增加多少，一个取决于我们能不能跟得上，然后部署的速度能不能把疫情这个上市的几个月抢回来，还得取决于这个他们有多少预算。
In terms of how many more 5G systems that could be deployed versus the year beginning targets of telecom operators, that depends on several factors. The ability for vendors such as Huawei to supply, and whether the rollout would be fast enough so that we can win back the time during the pandemic. And also, of course, whether the telecom operators would have sufficient budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Masi. Dan Strom, Wall Street Journal, we're coming to you, and then we're coming to Celia Chen from South China Morning Post. Dan, can you hear us?
下面有请《华尔街日报》接下来是南华早报。
I hear you. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Thanks a lot. I was just my question is so Huawei posted your increase in net profit for the year was about 3 years, but your revenue grew pretty substantially. To what do you attribute the slowdown in profit growth last year? And I was also hoping you could answer why your share of overseas revenue declined last year. What do you attribute that to? Is it to the U.S. restrictions, or did you see other factors at play? If you could address that as well, please. Thanks.
我们看到华为去年的净利润的这个增长速度是低于前面3年的这样的一个利润增长的这样的一个速度。您能不能解释一下华为在2019年利润增速下滑的原因是什么？另外，我们也看到2019年华为海外收入的占比其实也是下滑了，这是由于美国限制的原因吗？还是说有其他的这个原因造成的
？2019年利润这个率下降，这个是很容易理解的。
I think it's pretty easy to understand why the growth rate of our net profit last year decreased.
我们在5月16号被美国这个 BIS 纳入这个实体清单以后，我们肯定要加大这个研发投入，来努力不动。
After Huawei was added to the entity list on May 16th last year by the U.S. Commerce Department, the BIS, we certainly had to invest more into R&D to so-called fix the holes.
因为同时突然之间，大量的供应商不能给华为这个供应，我们要重构我们的供应链。
Because out of a sudden, a large number of suppliers of Huawei could not continue supplying to us. So we had to rebuild, to a certain degree, our supply chain.
所以在这种情况下，我们不可能去追求维持一个这个跟2018年、17年一样的这个净利润率，不顾自己的生死。所以我们肯定还是先把洞补起来，把供应链重构好，然后以生存为第一目标。
In that context, it was certainly impossible for Huawei to continue pursuing as high growth rate in our net profits as 2017 or 2018. We had to fix the holes. We had to rebuild our supply chain, and survival turned out to be the first priority.
海外收入这个占比的下降，其实是受516以后，这个谷歌不再能够给我们的这个新上市产品提供这个 GMS 系统，是非常有关系。
As for the lower percentage of our overseas revenue in our total revenue mix, one of the big reasons for that was no more access of newly launched smartphones from Huawei to the Google GMS after May 16th.
我们在这个中国以外的消费者业务，在5月16号之前是高速增长，5月6号之后快速下降，到第4季度，然后这个稍微有所回升。
The consumer business outside of China was growing very fast before May 16th and was declining very fast after May 16th. It only started to bounce back since Q4 of last year.
应该去年在海外影响我们这个消费者业务的收入，至少到100亿美金左右。
The impact on Huawei's consumer business revenue in markets outside of China was at least $10 billion.
这肯定就带来了海外收入占比的下降。
Naturally, the percentage of our overseas revenue as of our total revenue would be smaller.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Dan. Celia from SCMP, we're coming to you next, and then we're coming to Brussels, to Politico, to Lawrence after that. Celia Chen from SCMP.
下一位是这个。
听到吗？
大家。
可以听到吗？
可以听得到。
我想问一下，就是华为手机在国内已经取得了很大的市场份额，但是在国外就有受阻。现在国内的厂商也开始进军海外的一些高端市场。想问一下，就是华为手机业务未来是如何平衡这国内外的发展，特别是在目前的这个疫情情况下？谢谢。
Huawei smartphone has captured a very big market share in China, while it's not doing as well in markets outside of China. We also noticed that many Chinese phone vendors start to penetrate premium segments outside of China. So how Huawei would balance its domestic and international phone business, especially in light of the current pandemic?
其实我们的选择很简单，就是在国内全面推进我们1+8+N 的全场景智慧生活战略的实施。
Our choice is very simple. In China, we are committed to implement our 1+8+M seamless AI Life strategy.
同时着力打造我们整个 HMS 生态，来支撑起我们的这个手机在海外能够销售。
At the same time, we would also work to build the HMS ecosystem so that we are able to sell Huawei smartphones in markets outside China.
我们当然希望我们的这个智能手机能够继续使用这个 GMS 系统。
We certainly hope to see continued access of Huawei smartphones to the GMS.
但是这个决定权不在我们手上，我们自己可以努力去做的，就是去构建我们的 HMS 生态和这个 APP Gallery。
But that decision is not for Huawei to make. What we can choose to work on ourselves is to develop the HMS as well as the application gallery that goes with it.
尽管很艰难，但是也没得选择。
Certainly, it's going to be very difficult, but we are left no other choices.
对华为的整个智能终端业务肯定不会局限在国内，我们肯定是要努力做成一个全球的业务。
We certainly do not position ourselves as a domestic player for the smart devices business. We certainly look at the global market for this business.
Thank you.
Thank you, Celia. We're going to come to Brussels, to Laurence from Politico next, and then Sankei News, Japan, will come back, and then Guangzhou. Laurence from Politico.
Hi, thanks for taking the question. I wanted to ask about the European market specifically in light of the measures that European governments are taking to restrict the role of what's called high-risk vendors. A lot of European governments count Huawei as being part of that group of high-risk vendors. First of all, I just wanted to ask again whether you could break down a little bit the impact of the measures being taken across Europe right now on the carrier business figures in Europe specifically. And then secondly, I was wondering if Huawei considers these measures taken in countries like France, the UK, perhaps other European countries, as being discriminatory or unfair in any way, and whether it considers taking steps or actions to address discrimination or unfair competition. Thank you.
来自于布鲁塞尔Political 那我想这个问一下具体关于欧洲市场的问题。目前的这个形势下，我们看到欧洲多国政府正在针对所谓的高风险供应商来采取相应的举措。那很多欧洲国家的政府也把华为归为高风险供应商。那您能不能这个具体的介绍一下欧洲政府采取的这些措施对于华为欧洲的运营商业务具体带来了多大的影响？另外的话，您是否认为像法国、英国，可能还有其他的欧洲国家，他们目前采取的这些措施是歧视性的，是不公平的？如果是的话，华为会采取怎样的这个举措和行动来应对这种歧视和不公平竞争？
至少从公开报道上，我没有听说过哪个国家这个把华为定位为高风险供应商。当然，现在英国已经不属于欧洲，不属于欧盟。
At the very least, from public reports, I have never seen or heard that any member state of the European Union has labeled Huawei clearly as a high-risk vendor. Because you know, UK now is not part of European Union anymore.
我觉得这个欧洲各个国家还是在基于事实在做决策。
To me, European countries are still based their decisions on facts.
而且来讲，这个也清楚网络安全意味着什么。
And they clearly know what cybersecurity actually means.
我们在跟欧洲各个国家的政府都在保持着接触和沟通。
We have been engaging and communicating with various European governments.
一些事情还没有发生，所以说不能对发生的事情做太多的这个评价。
There are so many things that have not happened, so I think it's not good to make comments on things that have not happened.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Takagi from Sankei News is next, and then Guangsha Yinzu.
Hello, my name is Kato Takagi. 5G service started in Japan last week, and Japanese mobile companies were collaborating with you in the technology of 5G. But you are regulated by the government. Please tell me your strategy about 5G in Japan. For example, joint research or sales of base stations and mobile phones.
我们知道的话，日本的运营商其实现在已经启动了5G 相关的这样的一个工作。我们也看到了华为在日本的话，5G 其实是被禁止参与的。那现在华为在日本跟5G 方面的策略是怎样的？是说会围绕这个基站和这个5G 手机来进行联合的研究吗？
我从各种公开的渠道上没有听说过这个日本禁止华为参加他们的5G。
From all different types of open sources, I have never heard that Huawei is banned from participating in 5G in Japan.
所以说我们在跟客户、跟政府的监管机构也在沟通。
We have been communicating with our customers as well as regulators.
所以我们在日本本来我们跟 NTT Docomo、跟 KDDI， 我们没有任何这个移动领域的合作。
We have had no collaboration with NTT Docomo and KDDI in Japan in the mobile domain.
我们只跟软银、移动有合作，
We only work together with SoftBank Mobile.
就是我们现在其实的合作还是主要集中在4G 领域。
Our current collaboration is still focused on 4G.
从这个软硬移动也没有部署多少个5G 基站。
SoftBank Mobile till today has not deployed a large number of 5G base stations.
所以说，我们期待我们跟这个软硬移动的合作能够从4G 延续到5G。
And we hope that Huawei's cooperation with the SoftBank Mobile can be extended from 4G to 5G.
当然，这种取决于客户的决定。
And of course, this is a decision that needs to be made by the customers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Takagi. We're now coming to Guangsha. Yinze, are you there?
您听到吗？徐总您好。您好，可以听到吗？
可以听到，可以听到。
好，徐总您好，我是观察者网尹哲。我有一个问题，就是尽管扩大和升级对华为的限制措施可能造成整个行业和产业的系统性风险，但您能否更深入的谈一下，如果美国政府一意孤行，仍然选择实施相关的禁令，这将对美国芯片产业造成怎样的影响？他们将遭遇怎样的挫折？
You've said that further escalation of U.S. export controls toward Huawei would cause systemic risk. But what if the U.S. government was determined to escalate its restrictions toward Huawei? What kind of impact that would be on the semiconductor industry of the United States?
这里我不会做深入的这个分析。 我推荐你去看一份这个美国半导体协会请 BCG 做的一份报告，叫《限制与中国贸易如何终结美国半导体行业的领先地位》。这份报告把你这个问题回答得很清楚。
I would not share in-depth analysis here. Instead, I would refer you to a BCG report commissioned by the United States Semiconductor Industry Association. It's called How Restricting Trade with China Could End U.S. Semiconductor Leadership. There is a very good explanation in that report around the question you raised.
我想你搜索一下，就能搜索到这份报告。他的回答肯定比我讲得更深入。
A simple search would help you to locate that report. I think the analysis there definitely would be more in-depth compared to the answer that I could give here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've now got a change. We've got questions I will read out. The first is from Roberto Company, who's an analyst with Analysis Mason. How do you believe that multi-vendor Open RAN TIP solutions will challenge Huawei's business over the next 5 years?
那这个问题由我来念出来。在未来的5年的时间内，您觉得多厂商 Open RAN 以及 TIP 这些项目会对华为带来怎样的影响？
我认为带来的影响微乎其微。
I think the impact on our business would be negligible.
我还是简单的讲两句 Open RAN。
And I want to elaborate a little bit on Open RAN.
首先 ，Open RAN 不是一个标准，它不是所谓的5G另外的一个标准，它只是一个实现架构或实现继续。
First, Open RAN is not a standard. It's not another 5G standard. In essence, it's only an architecture and a method of implementation.
基于 Open RAN 这种实现架构和实现继续做出来的这个基站，它照样要满足这个5G 标准，照样要能够满足运营商对功耗、对性能、 对这个它的这个性价比的这个需求。
Base stations that are to be designed and developed based on the Open RAN architecture and the technologies still have to follow agreed 5G standards, still have to satisfy the needs of telecom operators around power consumption, performance, and value for money.
Open RAN 乘上开放开源，它只是实现一个5G 基站或者未来6G 基站的一种实现方式。
Open RAN advocates openness and open source, is only an implementation method to implement the 5G base stations or possibly base stations of 6G.
历史上，这个在3G 时代，基站的实现方式已经变革过一次了。
Looking back into history of this mobile communications industry, there was one revolution we saw during the times of 3G in terms of how base station was implemented.
就是华为开创的分布式基站。
That's when Huawei released its distributed base station.
在分布式基站之前，原来的基站 BBU 和 RU 是在一起的，都放在一个装有空调房的机房里面。
Before distributed base station were launched to the market, BBU, the baseband unit, and RU, the radio unit, were integrated into one equipment and was sheltered in an air-conditioned room.
华为提出的分布式基站就把 RU 这个放到了铁塔上，这样的话，这个大幅度提升了这个基站的性能，然后和覆盖。然后最后成为了4G、5G 基站的实现架构，成为了一个事实标准。但这个标准不是什么4G 标准、5G 标准。
With the invention of a distributed base station from Huawei, RRU was separated and separately mounted on tower. That substantially increased the performance and also coverage of base stations. And that solution also has become a way of implementation of 4G and 5G base stations, and actually it has become a de facto standard in the industry.
从2G 到3G 到4G 到5G，3GPP 制定标准的时候，更多都是聚焦在互联互通，就保证手机与基站、基站与核心网、基站与基站之间多厂商能够连通起来，然后在全球能够漫游。从来没有去关注基站的实现方式和实现架构。
In the times of 2G, 3G, 4G, or 5G, when 3GPP was working on standards setting, the focus has always been interoperability to ensure smartphones can interwork with base stations can interwork with the core network, and base stations can work together with each other across different vendors. That is the foundation to ensure global roaming. And there has never been a time that the 3GPP would look specifically at the implementation methods and the architectures of different vendors.
其实站在运营商的角度来讲，它并不关注这个基站的这个实现方式，而且我们这个业界的玩家每家的基站的实现方式并不完全一样，它更多关注的是基站的性能、基站的这个质量、基站的性价比。
From the perspective of telecom operators, it's not their area of interest in terms of how base stations are implemented. As a matter of fact, the way of implementation between different equipment vendors is different. To telecom operators, they care about the performance, the quality, the value for money of different base station products coming from different vendors.
大家知道，业界有一个single RAN，现在又来了一个 Open RAN， 就是这个single RAN 也好 ，Open RAN 也好，这种都是要满足5G 标准，满足这个5G 已经建立的标准。所有的手机都要能够接入这个基站，基站与基站之间要能够连起来，基站与核心网之间要能够连起来。
We know in our industry, we have had single RAN, and now we are seeing open RAN. No matter it's a single RAN or open RAN, they must follow agreed and established 5G standards so that all smartphones can interwork with the base stations, base stations can interwork with each other, and base stations can interwork with core network.
我把那个 single RAN 比为这个专用计算，把这个 open RAN 比成通用计算，就是历史上专用计算和通用计算一直是竞争的。但是这个通用计算，像 Intel 一直想取代专用计算，但是走到今天，专用计算的场景不是越来越少，而是越来越多，尤其是 AI 起来以后。
To me, single RAN is like special purpose computing, and open RAN is like general purpose computing. There has always been this race between general purpose and special purpose computing. Companies such as Intel, they've always wanted to replace today's special purpose computing with a general purpose computing. But until today, we have seen more and more scenarios and use cases where special purpose computing seems to be a better fit, especially after the increasing adoption of AI.
就是 Intel 的前 CEO BK 跟我交流的时候，跟我期望过华为公司的基站，用它的这个 X6 CPU。我当时就跟他讲，你的这个通用计算跟我们自己开发的这个专用计算，啥时候这个在性能、在成本各方面达到一样了？我说我何乐而不为，我直接用你的就行了，我为什么要自己去开发？
There was once a meeting with the former CEO of Intel, Brian, and he wanted the Huawei base station to use Intel's x86 processors. And I told him, this is like a race between the general purpose computing and Huawei self-developed special purpose computing. If one day the general purpose computing can catch up in terms of a performance and a cost structure, why Huawei would not use Intel's general purpose computing? Because it takes more time and investment for Huawei to do it itself.
所以说，这个 Open RAN 肯定是用通用计算，它只要解决它的功耗问题，解决它的成本问题，解决它能够性能问题，能够满足这个客户的需求，它本质上还是要有很长时间的。所以说，短期内对我们的业务没啥影响。
Open RAN, in essence, is general purpose computing. I think that there would be a long time to go before the power consumption, cost structure, and performance of general computing to be able to satisfy the needs of customers. Therefore, in the short term, I do not see major impact on Huawei's business.
就是大家没有看到一件最关键的这个移动通信领域的继续领域，它都是在无线领域。 任何 Open RAN 也好 ，Single RAN 也好，无线的 RRU、AAU 都是同样的，都是要达到客户的需求的，都是要能够做到高性能、低成本的。
Maybe many people have not noticed what is the most critical technology in the area of mobile communications. That's in the area of radio access. No matter it's Open RAN or Single RAN, you have to come up with the products like RRU or AAU that can be able to meet the needs of customers around the performance, around the power consumption, and around the cost structure.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're now coming to the last question, and it's again online, and I guess, Eric, it's one for you. It's from Clinton Liu at McGill University in Canada. Could you give some further information about the new IP standard strategy raised by Huawei?
这是最后一个问题，是问Eric 的，来自于加拿大McGill 大学的。想请这个 Eric 介绍一下华为在 New IP 上面的这样的一个战略。
这个 New IP 的问题，我在昨天已经答过一次了，反正我又把昨天再答一次。
I actually answered the same question yesterday, and I would answer that question again here.
我很高兴，这个产业界和媒体朋友们对 New IP 感兴趣了、关注了。
I'm very pleased that the new IP is drawing the attention from the industry as well as friends from the press.
因为 new IP 这个名字是我取的。
I gave the name of a new IP myself.
最早不叫这个名字。
At the very beginning, it was a different name.
我为什么取这个名字呢？就是由于当时我们正在搞5G 研究，5G 叫 New Radio。我认为 IP 面向未来，它的使命跟5G 面向未来的使命差不多。我说你为什么就不叫 New IP 呢？就是 New IP 对应的是 New Radio， 就对应的5G。
We had a discussion around the next generation of IP when Huawei was doing research on 5G new radio. And to me, the future mission of a next generation IP was similar to the mission of a 5G new radio. So I simply wondered, why not call it new IP, just like the way we called 5G new radio?
大家可以大家去查一查，这个现在的 IP 继续始于1969年，协议定型于1978年，应该到现在将近50多年的时间了，当然取得了巨大的成功。
We can do a little bit of search on the internet, and then we can realize that IP technology was invented first in 1969, and the protocol was finalized in 1978. It's almost 50 years. Of course, IP has achieved enormous achievements over the past 50 plus years.
原来这个 IP 聚焦在这个把全球的电脑这个连起来，主要聚焦在办公领域。后来这个延伸到了移动互联网，把我们的所有的手机都能够连起来。
At the very beginning, IP was designed to connect all the computers of the world for office or productivity purpose. And then is extended to also connect all the phones that consumers have to deliver mobile internet services.
但是这么多年来，它一直没法它的技术没法满足这些年快速发展的这个工业互联网对低时延、安全等一系列的需求。
However, for so many years, IP technology was not sufficient to satisfy the needs of industrial internet, particularly around low latency and security.
5G 当时的目标也是在这个满足不断增长的这个消费者的这个移动宽带需求的基础上，要满足这个行业的低时延和这个巨大连接的这个物联网的需求。
There was a similar story for 5G as well. While 5G was supposed to satisfy the increasing need for enhanced mobile broadband experiences by consumers, it also promises to deliver low latency and a massive connectivity that is required for IoT or industrial internet.
这个 New IP 是一样的，它在满足这个移动互联网和这个办公需求以外，它也要去满足这个行业的这个工业互联网的这个需求，包括就是低时延和安全等等。
It's the same story for new IP. While it is supposed to satisfy the needs around mobile internet and productivity, it's also supposed to satisfy the needs for industrial internet, things like low latency and security.
所以说，这个 new IP 其实到现在为止还属于一个研究的这个课题。我们的这个专家，我们的 IP 专家们跟这个全球的科学家和工程师在一起研究探讨。
Till today, new IP is still a research topic. Well, the IP experts coming from Huawei discuss and work together with scientists and engineers from around the world.
就是这个现在这个各个国家，包括意大利、英国、加拿大、德国、比利时、西班牙等等这些国家的 IP 专家们，都在自由地参与这个研究和这个创新，期望来这个共同解决 IP 网络面向未来的问题，然后使得我们的 New IP 能够在满足传统 IP 的基础上， 能够满足工业互联网的需求。
Currently, IP experts from various countries, Italy, the UK, Canada, Germany, Belgium, Spain, etc., are participating freely in the research and innovation around the next generation of IP, with the hope that the challenges can be well addressed and resolved so that IP can be better prepared for the future. So that the new IP can not only build on what the traditional IP has achieved, but also be able to satisfy the needs for industrial internet.
昨天下午，我跟《金融时报》的这个记者在接受采访的时候，他们也问了同样的问题。我说：“你《金融时报》不要一开始就把这个 new IP 定义把它政治化，这仅仅是一个这个纯技术课题，对吧？不要一开始就去认为这些专家们有那么多这个不可告人的目的，大家仅仅是为来解决 IP 面向未来的问题，来进行自由的研究这个探讨，没有大家想象的那么复杂，也没有大家想象的那么多政治的问题，也不应该把一个继续正在研究的技术话题把它政治化。”
I was taking an interview with the Financial Times yesterday in the afternoon, and they raised the same question. And I said Financial Times should not politicize the new IP discussions from the very beginning, because this is a pure technical topic. Technical experts do not have untold secrets or agenda. They come together only for free discussions about how the future of technology holds. It's not that complicated. There is no political agenda. This is a pure technical discussion that should not get politicized.
Thank you.
And thank you. We're now out of time. You may very well have additional questions. Please submit them through your PR manager. For now, I thank you for your participation and for your questions. Please join me in thanking our panel for addressing those questions, Mr. Eric Xu and Madam Xi, and of course to Ken Wong and the other interpreters who made today's event possible. Thank you very much.
谢谢各位，我们今天就到这里。如果大家还有问题，可以联系对口的 PR 经理。谢谢各位的这个参与。